What's up? I've probably had this boat for I think 3 years now, might be two. I kind of lost track of time, but I've had this boat for 2 to 3 years now. And I released a video when I first got it talking about the boat and just its specs and what I was excited about it. And I think it's best now for me to release another video about the same boat after having it for a long time and give my honest thoughts about the boat. I think my first video, it was easier for me in the honeymoon phase with the boat just to go, oh, it's great, 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 great. But I want to give some of the downsides as well of this boat and just give my feedback of the boat in general. If you're going to get one, I'll give some advice or things that you can do and just help you guys decide if this is the boat for you. Now, I'm going to start from the front of the boat, work my way back. For starters, this twisting mechanism on the trailer is a great idea. It actually helps me fit the boat inside the garage. But one issue that came up, and if you know boats, you know things rust like crazy. You got to be on top of it to stop rust. Little part right here, that is what you're supposed to be able to take in and out, ended up rusting, and I actually have to take out the bolt every time that I want to move it because I literally have tried and I cannot get this thing out. But as far as the trailer that comes with the boat, it's been great. I've had to replace the jack a few times. You know how that is with boats. This tire right here, you can see how it's pretty high. And when I first got the boat, I didn't spray a silicone spray or anything on the bunks of the trailer to make it slide nice and easy. So I had to go pretty far back into the water to get my boat to go off the trailer. And I would have to go so far back that when the nose would come off, it would fall down. And a lot of times it would hit this tire. So that was pretty annoying. And also the trolling motor on the front, this would catch and hit, and it's actually broke the frame. So until I sprayed those bunks, which I think is something that everybody should do, um, spray your trailer bunks with silicone spray. It makes it 10 times easier to unload and load your boat. But if you do it, make sure that you leave your boat attached when you're backing it up because the boat will literally just fall right off. So make sure you stay attached to your boat, have it locked while you're backing down the boat ramp. But ever since I've done that, I've been able to do it carefree without hitting the trolling motor or hitting the tire on the boat. You just make sure that you go a certain distance down the ramp to where when that boat starts going, the nose isn't going to go down. It's just going to slide right off. That was one little thing that was annoying at first, but I figured it out and now it's completely fine. One other thing, and this is my doing, not actually the boat, but the trolling motor I have on there is a 12 volt 55 pound thrust. And I kind of wish I would have gone with a 24 volt. If they had a stronger 12 volt, I would have done it. But sometimes I have to literally go 10 speed to go against a current or something, and I wish I had something a little bit more powerful. Now, something that has been a little bit annoying with the boat, and this goes back to just when the trailer thing was messed up and it would hit and it would rub and everything. This kind of guard kind of comes off sometimes, but that could be my own doing. I'm not going to kick them too much for that. And it's honestly pretty hard to get back on yourself. So moving a little further back, this deck space has been incredible. I love how big the front deck is. It's very stable for me. I can run up and down the side gunnels and I'm completely stable. I've fished two people on the front of this boat. There's a lot of space up here on the front of the boat and I've really liked it. Now they have an attachment you can get that pushes a little platform to stand on here. I don't have it and I'm kind of fine not having it because I always have a cooler or a Livewell or something on the boat that I can just put up here and stand on and it works great. So one of the things that has been pretty annoying, and I've sort of started to figure out how to get around it and talking with some friends that have other small skiffs, sometimes it's hard to fill the gas up. It keeps like thinking that it's full even though I know it's not. And the gas tank is right here, and sometimes I have to like make sure the nozzle is in as far as it can go, and I sometimes can't put it on full speed because I think there's a tube and that tube fills up too fast and it thinks it's full. So sometimes you got to go a little bit slower. So just a little finicky filling up the gas. It's not that big of an issue. It's really like I've sort of started to figure it out. But that was just something that was pretty annoying to try to figure out at first. Another thing, these drains, they work well, but sometimes, as you can probably see right now, stuff gets kind of like built up inside of them. and you just have to like hit the hose and spray it through there. So those things get kind of clogged sometimes. There's a ton of space in this hatch. The charger for the trolling motor battery has been great. The little thing that turns it on and off, the breaker switch over there, has been great. I've put in a bigger battery that doesn't fit in the little station they have, but that's more my doing. But I've loved this. This gets pretty dirty, and I don't always clean it. I'm pretty anal about cleaning my boat, but the little details like that, sometimes it's just a lot. It's just a lot to clean that sometimes. I think that the non-skid actually cleans so much easier than Seadek. I think Seadek is a little bit harder to clean than just the natural non-skid. But as far as this hatch goes, I don't have any complaints about it. I think it works great. The water runs through, it stays pretty dry. When you take everything out, it's pretty easy to clean because the water just drains right out. So yeah, I don't have any complaints about the front hatch. I think it's a lot of room, and the front deck is pretty stable. And the ruler has been very nice. I have loved having this ruler. All right, coming back a little further, let's talk about the seat. Now, this seat didn't have anything to like really open and close it. You just had to kind of like grab back here. I put in a little strap that I can pull up and down. I don't know if they just forgot to put that on mine or if that's just something they don't do, but I put that in there. It just makes it a lot easier to open and close this hatch. Seat's super comfortable. Behind the seat, there is access to getting inside there, and it's pretty open, easy to access all that stuff. Get behind your Simrad to make the changes that you want. All my friends that have sat on the front said it's really comfortable, so no complaints about that seat. I'm bringing you guys inside the boat now. The rod lockers and storage. As you can see, I've got some rods here. I really like the ones when it goes up here. I think it stays pretty tucked away, but I'll show you real quick. It does kind of stick out a little bit where it's easy to accidentally step on. So that is one thing that I've been mindful about, is I typically only use the back ones. Same thing with the Seadek right there. Sometimes it's just a pain to clean. So it gets a little bit dirtier than the non-skid. The non-skid stays pretty dang clean. I do think there's not a ton of room on the side. If you watch Lawson's videos, he has an Explorer, and his boat has a lot more room in like this front area and on the sides. So that is like one downfall of this boat, is there's not a ton of space in here. But with the type of fishing that I do, it doesn't really bother me. Another thing I wish it had was rod holders here, which is something I can put in myself. But at the same time, like I just said, there's not much room here. So rod holders would make even less room for you to walk around. So it's kind of the give and take. It would be nice to have some rod holders in the front of the boat. The only ones it has are on the back there, on the back tower. So that is one thing. It'd be nice to have some rod holders up here. The cup holders up here are really nice. I've loved those. I do think it's weird that the nav lights are right here. I kind of would prefer them to be on the front of the boat. If someone's sitting here, it kind of blocks it, and I think it's just not really the best design. I also wish when they installed the Simrad here that they moved it over a little bit more so I could have fit this stereo here, but there wasn't enough room, so I had to put it here, and it is broken right now because it has water damage. So I wish that I would have just been able to fit it here with this Simrad being pushed over a little bit. All right, coming back to the center console. The gas tank sometimes doesn't work correctly. I don't know if mine's just broken, but sometimes it just literally doesn't tell me. I think the steering is super smooth. I think the steering wheel's great. I think the forward and reverse works amazing. I love it. I would prefer a Garmin over Simrad. I've had Garmin. I've had Simrad now. I think Garmin's much better. I'd rather have a Garmin there, but that's a lot of money to change. This has started to break, so that's kind of annoying. That has started. I haven't noticed anything negative to come from it, but that has just been kind of something that's been kind of annoying. I love having the Jackplate trim tabs right here on this. It makes it super easy to use. Then you got your trim tabs right there, super easy. Access right here is nice. You get a lot of space to get inside of there. This can lift up and come out. I love having these, but I always have my camera stuff in here, so I literally never use them. The little flippy switches here are pretty nice. Having these for the push pull has been amazing. So they're not like just stuck. Like you can see that one is there, but I'm never walking there, so it's not a big deal. But having the ones on the front be able to retract is really nice to just have that nice and flat. The storage space back here under the two seats is incredible. One thing that has been kind of annoying is if water gets here, It doesn't really drain well. And I've had times where if my boat's parked in a way that it's tilted a little bit this way, water will actually get in here because of that. I'm not really sure how, but it does. And then it just doesn't, because it's coming to this side, it doesn't go down the drain that's over here. So that is a little bit annoying. When you're driving, make sure that this is locked because it will fly open on the road. So that is one thing I was going to be mindful of that. This backrest has been really nice. I've loved this. Not on this side, but on the other side. I don't know if one of my friends accidentally stood on it or something, but it has started to bend a little bit. I think the new ones have little things here that come down that kind of support it. So that's nice that the new ones have that. Mine doesn't. It's probably something I can add if I want to. It says it's rated for a 70. I have a 60. I've had no issues with the 60. I am completely fine with my speed. I think I go about 31 to 32 full blast. I usually keep it more around 26 to 28 because I figured out that's probably where I get my best gas mileage. So that's where I stick around. The miles per gallon, I'm pretty sure I had it working. It stopped working. I need to get it fixed. But I think full plane, it was anywhere from like 4, 5 to 6. Getting in that juicy spot was anywhere from like 8 to 9, which is pretty good. The Jackplate's been amazing. Have had no issues with that. Have had no issues with the engine. One thing you got to be mindful of with the engine, especially in the summer heat, is when you first turn the engine off, that water is pretty hot that's coming out of it. And a couple times it's happened to me in the summer heat. I've gone to undo the plug on the back of the boat, and that water has hit my shoulder, and it has hurt. The platform is super nice and easy to get up on these steps. I've used this a ton. I've literally used it solo, standing on the platform, using my trolling motor on the front. And it's it's nice to have those rod holders when you're up there so you can keep rods with you. I have loved having that. All right, I'm looking at some notes. One thing that I don't use, so this is a Livewell that I also use. I use it as a cooler mostly. It's really big in there and it's a huge Livewell, but I never use it because it uses a lot of power, and I've had moments where I was using it and it literally drained my boat's battery. And luckily I keep an emergency starter with me. But that is one thing that I haven't really used it as the live well just because of how much power it uses. But it is a great cooler. I use it as a cooler a lot because there's so much room in there. I don't really use them that often because it makes it harder to see at night, so it kind of defeats the purpose. But the cabin lights are actually absolutely gorgeous. They're blue lights inside the boat. And then the spreader light back there, it does nothing. It is not bright at all. So that spreader light is pretty pointless. It doesn't really do much. I'm trying to look at my notes to see if there's any other things. I've seen boats that the water doesn't drain well. The water drains incredible on this boat. I love where the drains are located back there. I love the plug system on this boat. It stays on the boat, so when you unplug it, it stays like connected to it. I don't know why more boats don't go to that. I've had boats where you have to like individually take that plug out and it's the little brass plug, and this one's so much nicer because you have to worry about if you forgot it or not because it stays on the boat. Now, one complaint that I have compared to the Gheenoe that I was using is that because this is such a nice boat, it's wider. I care about it more. There's some fishing spots that I won't go to with this boat because you have to go through some narrow mangrove passageways that might scratch up the boat and everything. And I was completely fine taking the Gheenoe because one, it's skinnier, and two, I just didn't care as much about it. So that is one downside of having a boat that is a little bit wider. It's just some of those little secret tunnels to go back into little mangrove ponds you don't really want to take a boat like this through. This thing gets insanely shallow, especially if you're poling. It says 5 inches. It literally drafts 5 inches if I'm not using the trolling motor. The trolling motor goes a little bit deeper, so it's hard to fish in the super shallow water with that. But it is incredible how shallow this boat gets. It's also super light. If you have a car that can't really tow that much, I've towed this with my mom's Pilot, and her towing capacity is literally 2,000 pounds on that thing, and it was perfectly fine. Felt great. So it is a super lightweight boat, which is incredible. I have just been in general. I've loved this boat. It was always my dream boat. I got it, and it has been better than I imagined. I've been the downsides, things that I haven't liked about it, but they're not enough for me not to like the boat. I have really enjoyed and really loved this thing, and hopefully it gets me on some incredible fish in the future. But that's pretty much all I got. This was just kind of off of the dome. I took some notes, but I didn't really read them until the end there. Kind of just went up and down the boat, looked at the things I liked, looked at things I disliked. I think it's a great boat. If you're looking to get one, it's kind of hard to get them, but I do love it. And there's other boats that are super similar, that are essentially the same things. But that was a lot of the specific details about this boat and what I've learned about it after a long time of owning it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope this helped you out with whatever you were looking for with this boat, or if you just wanted to see the boat in general. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we go out and crush some fish. The fishing has been tough recently, but hopefully we can go out and get some. Thank you. Peace.